This video is for you who have sketches upon sketches upon sketches on your hard drive or on your MPC or wherever you make beats and never managed to finish off beats and publish them. In this video, I'm sharing with you how I easily turn a sketch into a fully arranged song ready to be mixed and published. Let's go! When you upload a beat to YouTube or BeatStars or wherever, especially if you want to sell your beats, I think it's important that you present your beats as if it's done, and a rapper can just lay down verses on it and make it a full song. You want the artist to be energized when he or she listens to your beat. This is so important, and that's why, of course, arrangement is an important part of the song. So here we have a beat. This is a sketch. This is 4 bars, and I'm just playing it back to you, raw, unmixed, unarranged, and everything. Cool. I think it has potential. My process when making beats is I sit in my sofa on my couch with my headphones and really get in the zone. So in this case, for example, I was in the zone. I found something cool, neat, and then I found another sample and I chopped it up and I found that it matched perfectly with the pitch and everything. I sampled some drums and I chopped them up and I rearranged them and made them sound cool, and then I added some kick and snare overlays, and then I finally added some bass. So that's my entire beat making process, or sketch making process. And then comes arrangement, and I never do that on the MPC because I find it tedious. I find it time consuming. I just export all the individual tracks from the MPC over to a memory stick, and then I put it into my computer and drag it over to Logic, which is my DAW of preference. And from there, I make all the arrangements, and it's actually a 3-step process if I can break it down into steps. And the first step is just import the tracks. So here I've done step 1. So this is importing it and arranging it in a nice sequence. I have the bass first here. I usually have the drums first, but there are variations in my workflow. I'm moving fast, so I tend to slip sometimes. I've grouped them into folders. So I have a drum bus folder, I have a bass folder, and an instruments folder. So I have everything in place, everything is named, and everything is colored. So what the first thing I would do here, I will mark everything. And I will just hit Command R, which is duplicate. I would duplicate my entire section at least 4 times. So I have 4 times 4. And then I would do another one. So I have doubled it. So here I have 8 4-bar loops. Here I have mapped out how I'm thinking about the structure of the arrangement. So I have the intro, I have a verse, I have a chorus, another verse, chorus, and then an outro. Every time when I'm arranging, I'm thinking about how can I make this sketch tell a story of some sort. So there has to be some turning points. There has to be some risers and some downers, and there needs to be some variation. I never just put out a 4-bar loop and just loop it and boom, send it off. I like to have some variations, and those can be subtle and they can be quite substantial. It depends on the beat and the feeling and the flow. What I do now is I remove stuff here and there. I have to figure out what should be the sounds in the chorus, what should be the sounds in the verse, and so on and so forth. And I will go over to this one right here. It's the same beat, and I'm done arranging. So if step 1 was to import all the audio tracks and naming them and coloring them and making them tidy, step 2 would be to duplicate all the tracks along the timeline and figure out the structure, like intro, verse, chorus. And a bonus tip is to have one of your favorite songs, just drag it into your DAW session and analyze it. What's the structure in that song? How long is the intro? How long is the verse, chorus, etc.? How long is the outro? What is happening in the intro and the outro? What is happening to the arrangement? in that particular song. What is happening to the beat? It's all about feeling. It can have to do with the tempo of the beat. Whenever you feel that you are boring or lose interest, that's when you have to switch things up. First off, we have the intro right here, which turned out to be 8 bars in this case. So I have first just a sample running, and then I have drums. Here I have chopped up the drums, so I only use the kick and the hi-hat. And then when the verse comes in, there's a change in impact because there comes the kick and the snare layers that I've layered upon the drum loop. And another bank of samples. They're not playing at the same time as you heard in the initial example where everything was playing together. And when the chorus comes in, there's an 8-bar chorus. I have everything playing together. Initially in the first 4 bars of the chorus, and in the last 4 bars of the chorus, I have removed the bass. So that creates also a variation. And then comes the start or the beginning of the second verse. And here I have removed the bass also, and I have taken away the kick and snare, and there's only a hi-hat loop going in the first 4 bars, and the drum comes in at the last half bar of this section. And this is to emphasize maybe the beginning of the second rappers or the second verse. There's a switch in energy whenever a lot of stuff is taken away from the beats and the focus is more directed towards the words that the rapper is saying, for example, and then the beat comes back, the drops back again. Maybe there's a punchline at the end here, who knows. And here's also some opening for punchlines, and that's also another good principle to have, that you need to have some openings for the rapper to breathe, to express something funny or something like really clever. And those oftentimes happen at the end of a 4-bar section. So the last bar of a 4-bar section should have some sort of a switch up to emphasize the rapper's cleverness, I guess. And I only have 12 bars of verse because this is a quite slow moving beat. Let's see how many BPMs we have. We have 86 BPM. That's pretty slow, and an 8-bar hook. And then comes an outro at the end. And this is basically just the chorus, and it fades off at the end with a low pass filter that just turns everything off. I like this arrangement, but as long as there is interest going on, you can do whatever. There's no hard and fast rules on how to arrange a song, but I think that the more interest you can create and the more storytelling you can do with your beat, the better. And also play around with the regions, like chopping things up, having the hi-hats just repeat itself without anything else, for example, or stretch out certain sounds, reverse certain sounds, try different things. And I love doing stuff that happens only once or twice during the beat, such as, let me show you, I've chopped up and I have reduced, I've removed, I've muted, taken away to create this arrangement. And a bonus thing to do to create even more interest is if we take a look at the automation. This is like a bit more advanced, but it's actually really simple. A couple of principles of using automation in your beat arrangement is, for example, inserting a filter. So here I have an EQ on the drum loop. Take a look at this filter right here. This is the low pass filter. I've automated it so that it drops right here, just to transit to the next section. So yeah, really effective. I think I've done the opposite somewhere. Let's see. You see here the high pass filter is right here. It's on 10 hertz, and whenever I come to a transition, it will be engaged. Look at this. Yeah. So that's really effective. And I've done the same thing here on the Vox loop. I have used a low pass filter right here, so you can listen. Just slightly, slightly, subtly. Yeah. I think this part of the beat mixing session is really rewarding, and I think it's fun. I have stayed shy of it for many years. I have been in the situation where I have maybe hundreds of beat sketches laying on my computer, but once I started getting into beat challenges, I will link to a nice beat challenge in the description below. I had to publish a beat a week, and that really drove me to making a system so that it became fun. And you can say that, oh, when you use templates and when you use a structure and a system, you lose creativity. But I would say the opposite is true, because when you have some frameworks, you allow yourself to be more creative and less worried about the technical details of whatever you're doing. So I think the more boundaries you have, the more templates you use, the more scripts you use when in the creative process, whatever process it may be, if it's sketching out beats, or arranging, or mixing, or mastering. I think that those frameworks allow you to be more playful when you arrange, produce, mix, and whatever. And I hope that this video helped someone out there. Maybe it's you. If you want more videos about beat making, producing, mixing beats, maybe mastering beats, check out one of these videos. I think those would be great, and I hope I see you in one of those. Peace!